Hello and welcome back to episode 4 of BVMS Reads. I'm Mr. Hume, your BVMS librarian, and today we're going to talk about something, and I'm going to make some book suggestions on, I don't know how you feel, but probably one of the things I miss the most about this quarantine time that we're undergoing is baseball. I love baseball. I love the way it ushers in the spring. I love the smell and the look of the grass when you go out to the stadium. I love to hear the crowd yell when something good happens. I love just almost everything about baseball, and I always enjoy going out to the games. So, since we don't have baseball to cheer for this year so far, I decided that I'm going to do a show on baseball books, because there's a lot of them out there. Baseball's been part of our national identity for a long, long time, and that means there's been a lot of books written about it, and some of them are really, really good. Remember that the rules for the books I'm going to recommend is 1, they're good for a middle school audience, and 2, they are quality books, ones that have been reviewed well, and 3, they are available to you through Access 360, where you can get them by as ebooks or audiobooks. So sit back, grab a hot dog, get something to drink, and let's take a look at some books based on baseball. Book selection number 1. Shane Hunter is a talented closer for his high school baseball team. He goes to a great school, lives in a good house. Life is good until it isn't. His wealthy father is found guilty in a money laundering scheme through his Lexus dealership. Shame and the prospect of jail convince his father to take his own life. Suddenly, Shane doesn't have the life that he once had. He is taken out of his prep school. He has to move out of his very big house. He's suddenly in a low-rent public school, living in public housing. And baseball doesn't have the attraction that it once does. But things start turning around, and he starts looking at baseball again until another crisis comes at the expense of the high heat that he's known for throwing and the health of an opposing player. See if Shane can get it all together again and let baseball be the good guiding force in his life in High Heat by Carl Duiker. Book selection number 2. Okay, our second selection is A Hero Two Doors Down by Sharon Robinson. It's a true story based on the life of Steve Satlow, who is a huge Brooklyn Dodgers fan. Steve was there for perhaps one of the biggest nights in the history of Major League Baseball, and that was Jackie Robinson's first game for the Brooklyn Dodgers. Steve followed Jackie Robinson and became a huge fan. Imagine his excitement when he found out that the family who was moving 2 doors down from his own house was the Jackie Robinson family. While this gave Satlow a front row seat into Jackie Robinson's life, it also helped him see the problems that Jackie Robinson faced as Major League Baseball's first black player. Let's go ahead and have a look at a book trailer for A Hero Two Doors Down by Sharon Robinson. Yes, there is a relation.
No throwing of any objects on the playing field.
Selection number 3. Our third selection is Heart of a Champion by Carl Deuker, one of the bigger sports writers that we have in the YA world. This book centers around a character named Seth, who became fatherless at the age of 7 when his papa died from a stroke. He becomes mesmerized by baseball 5 years later when he befriends a boy named Jimmy, who is just a super talented baseball player. And he's always out playing baseball with his father, and his father is a very demanding baseball player. When Seth watches Jimmy and his father play, he just wants to become a better player himself. But unfortunately, Jimmy's father comes with a suitcase full of problems himself, which, as Seth gets to know them a little bit better, become more apparent. See how Seth and Jimmy deal with the problems from different ends of the spectrum with paternal issues in a book called Heart of a Champion by Carl Deuker.
Yo, buddy! You wanna come play? I'm Seth. I'm Jimmy. Why'd your dad so tough on you? He just wants me to be the best baseball player. Where's your dad?
Book selection number 4. For our fourth selection, I have a book called King of the Bench by Steve Moore. Usually our sports books deal with the greatest players, the ones that really make us set up and notice. But this book celebrates the unsung heroes, the player that keeps that bench warm. Warm because they never get off of it. Steve is that king of the bench. He has struggled ever since developing a case of benophobia when seeing another player get hit by a pitch. He really doesn't want to get out there. He's really not too enthusiastic about it. But sitting at the bench reliably has given him a suitcase full of fascinating tales that he shares in King of the Bench by Steve Moore. Let's have a look at a trailer. Book selection number 5. Our fifth selection is a book called The Only Game by Mike Lupica, another very, very good sports author and sports reporter. The center character on this book is Jack Callahan. He is the star of the local baseball team, and this year promises to be his best ever. But a sudden tragic turn of events in his life causes Jack to not only lose his taste for baseball, but lose his taste for almost everything else in his life. He kind of goes through this period where he has a hard time getting excited about anything, and he walks away. An unexpected friendship with another person named Cassie Bennett, who just happens to be a star softball player, unlocks something deep inside him. Cassie is the only one who keeps telling him it's okay if he doesn't want to play baseball. Everyone else is pressuring him to get back in the game. But after his friendship with Cassie and another person develops, he starts to regain a love for the things that he used to enjoy in his life. And he picks up the glove again and he starts playing baseball. See if Jack can make it all the way back in the book The Only Game by Mike Lupica. Book selection number 6. The sixth and final book recommendation of this time is a little bit unusual in that it is a nonfiction book. I usually talk about fiction books. That's usually what people want to read. But this is a little different. As you might be able to tell, I'm a big baseball fan. And growing up, I was lucky enough to just catch the tail end of a player's career named Hank Aaron. This is a book about Hank Aaron, about his life, about his playing days, about what he was accomplished. Hank Aaron was an amazing player. He started in 1954 when it was really very, very new for African American players to be in Major League Baseball. He was one of the first, and at age 20, he soon became one of the best players in Major League Baseball. He retired in 1976 with 755 home runs and 2,297 RBIs. To look at that career, you look at the Royals, if we have someone hit 37 home runs in a season, we're all like, holy cow, what a great season he had. In order to hit 755 home runs in your career, you have to average 37 home runs a year for 22 years, which is what Hank Aaron did, and 113 RBIs. Anyone gets 100 RBIs anymore, that's considered a fantastic season. So 22 fantastic seasons. Even more remarkable, and I don't want to get too much into the details of baseball, but he did this during the dead ball era of the 60s. What that means is pitchers really had an advantage in the 1960s. Home run totals were down for most people. Pitchers were dominating, yet Hank Aaron lived through all that. And this was way before the steroids era, when players have passed some of these records, but we're finding out now did it with the unfortunately with the aid of steroids. So this is really just a dedication to just one of the best players. I remember the night that he broke Babe Ruth's record of 714 home runs, and even then still showing the angry face of racism popping up, because Hank Aaron received all kinds of death threats if he ever were to break that record. Unfortunately, none of those panned out. Hank Aaron is alive to this day, but it's nice to look back and reminisce about his career. So have a look at Hank Aaron, his life and times.
Once again, a standing ovation for Henry Aaron. So the confrontation for the second time. Aaron walked in the second inning. He means the time and waiting. The outfield deep and straight away. Fastball is a high drive into deep left center field. Buckner goes back to the fence. It is gone. Moment for baseball. What a marvelous moment for Atlanta and the state of Georgia. What a marvelous moment for the country and the world.
Well, those are our recommendations for this week. Our special baseball issue of book of BVMS Reads. Hopefully there's something there that you're interested in. And remember, these are all available through Access 360. You can download them to your device. You can read them on your Chromebook. Whatever you do, just go out and check it out and start reading. Until next week, we will see you later. This is Mr. Hume, and keep on reading. By the way, if you're like me and really, really a big fan of baseball, I just thought I would say that because of the coronavirus epidemic, Ken Burns has asked that they allow streaming of his baseball documentary. It's like a 15-hour documentary on the history of baseball. He allowed that to be streamed for free. So if you're really into the history of baseball or just like baseball in general, it's a great documentary. I've watched it before. You can watch it free. I don't know until when, but I know it's free right now. And you can get to it at this link right down here. So dial it up, learn a little bit about baseball, and hopefully you'll enjoy.
Gotta keep reading, 'cause this book's gonna be a good book. 'Cause this book's gonna be a good book. 'Cause this book's gonna be a good book to read.